In this video, I'm going to show you how to use RSA to encrypt message and decrypt the message. So here is our Windows 10, and so here I'm going to start our chat server. Okay, so the chat server is here. So just click it, then we can start. Great. And now I'm going to get to our Caddy VM. Okay, and so here I open one more. Okay, so let's call this as a sender, something like that. So I'm going to get into this folder. Okay, so we already have sender receiver folders here. I want to delete everything. Receiver, great. So I can list again. You can see there's nothing here. And great, so now let's start from the beginning. I want to actually create a sender receiver folder because we are going to just pretend that we have two users here, one is the sender, one is the receiver. They are going to use the chat server to communicate with each other. Okay, so I can create the folder here called a sender. Okay, this guy can go to the Gene server folder and create receiver. And so this guy gets into the receiver folder, and this guy gets into the sender folder. Great, there's nothing here, nothing here. And to use public key crypto like RSA, we have to generate a key pair for each person. So in this case, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually here to generate the public and the private key pair for receiver. Okay, and so here is our slides, and so you can see here, this is how you actually generate the key pair. Okay, so be careful when you copy from slides to actually here Linux. Sometimes there are garbage. You may have to retype everything. Okay, and let me check everything's okay. And then we are using openssl generate key, and the output will be put into this file, and the algorithms RSA. Okay, very fast. You can see now we got this file. This file actually contains both private key and public key. Although we give a name private key.pm to this file, but really it actually contains both private and public keys. Okay, and so now we need to get the public key out. So this is the command to get the public key out. Okay, so get the public key, and we can actually look at the content. Right. Okay, so it's in actually something called a base64 encoding format. So that's good. And actually, if the sender here wants to send a message to the receiver, the sender has to get the receiver's public key, and so the receiver should never let anybody know it's a private key, but the receiver shouldn't let everybody know it's a public key. How can we do that? For example, you can just publish on your website. There are other ways to do that, something called a certificate authority. We are not going to cover that in this demo. But anyway, so we just assume this sender can actually get this public key of the receiver. Okay, we just copy this to here. Right, great, got it. And so now, okay, so here is what we are going to do here. And so we are going to actually kind of do this. And so we are going to copy the content of this message into a file. Okay, and we can do that. Great. And so the next thing we are going to do here is you can see we do encryption here, right? And so we can actually do this. So we can actually do this. So let's look at the command here. You can see here we are trying to do encryption using RSA, and the input key is public key .pm, and then here we are using public key, right? And here the input message is encryption encrypt.txt. That's what we just created, okay? And then the output is like this one. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, we are done. And so we got this encrypted data here. But this data actually is in binary format. So if you look at the content here, you'll see garbage, right? And so we are using the chat server to send a message. Uh, we needed to encode this one into printable characters. So we are going to use a base 64 for that purpose. Okay, so here is what we are going to do here. And so we are going to do this. We are going to actually use this command to, you can see here, we are doing base 64 encoding, and we are going to encode this binary data into this base 64 data. Okay, so now if I actually do this, then you can see actually it's kind of a printable, right? It's not a binary, it's not this kind of garbage anymore. That's nice. And now we can actually start the chat. Okay, we use Python 3 dash dash, it's within the chat client dot p. Okay, and this symbol means we want to run the program in the background, but actually the window will pop up. So we call this as a sender. Okay, so the server was already started. You can see here, I printed out the message. You can see we got one client coming. Right, and so now we come back to here, this is sender, and then here we want to actually do the same thing, okay, because we pretend we have sender, receiver on different computers. Okay, so we need to start Python 3 on the chat client, okay, put this one to here, we call this as a receiver. Okay, great. So now the sender can send out the encrypted message, which is encoded into the base 64 format. So we copy the selection and we send this out. Great. So the receiver receive it. Okay, then we can save the message to a file here, right? Okay, I'll give the name this one. Okay, I'm going to give the same name as this one. Okay, and so I'm going to actually start this text editor, paste. So this is the message we got from the sender. We encrypt it. Okay, and so we see what is name here. I'm going to same name encrypt dot data dot base 64. So this will be saved as a file for the receiver. Great. Okay, so the receiver got to this file, and oh, where did I save it? Okay, and so let me find where did I save it? So we can save it again. Let's save the message into a file, and the file name will be same as this one. Okay. Okay. Save it. Okay, it's still actually here, so we don't need to do that. We can actually just copy it. So this means a home folder, encrypt to here. So I'm just use move this one to here. Great. So now we got it. And okay, so now we need to decrypt the message. And the receiver needs to use its private key to decrypt the message. And before we do that, we need to actually decode this into the banner format, right? We need to translate this one in this base 64 format into the banner format. And so this is how we do it. Okay, so great. So we are decoding, and okay, we got the banner data back. So you can see actually it's garbage. Now let's see if we can decrypt it. So we do this. Okay, everything's good, right? Okay, great. So let me look at decrypt content. Now you can see, so we are okay. We already successfully decrypted the message.